Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the biggest pistol red dot I've ever used. The red that I'm talking about is Cyelee Bull X Pro. Before we move on, if you're interested in picking up a Bull X Pro, Cyelee was nice enough to give my viewers a coupon code that takes 20% off the Bull X Pro if purchased through Amazon. The code is UBR Bull X20. I'll have a link to this optic in the description of this video. Now let's get back to the review. I saw pictures of this optic online and it looked very interesting. So when Cyelee asked if I would like to review the Bull X Pro, I said yes right away. So let's start off the way we always do and list off all the features of the optic, and then I'll give you my impressions. The Bull X Pro weighs 2.4 ounces. The window size is 34.5 millimeters by 26 millimeters. It has shake awake built into it to save battery. It's IPX7 rated, which means it's waterproof. It has 10 brightness settings, and the first two are for night vision. The housing is made from aircraft grade 7075 T6 aluminum. Turrets adjustments are 1 MOA per click. It takes a CR1632 battery. The battery is said to last up to 50,000 hours. You can select from 3 different reticles. The first one is a single 2 MOA dot. The second is a 2 MOA dot in the middle of a 24 MOA circle. And the last one is a 24 MOA circle with no dot in the center of the circle. The optic has a 1x magnification. It's parallax free. The eye relief is unlimited, and it comes with a limited lifetime warranty. Now that we got that out of the way, I have to tell you about my first impressions with this optic. When I opened up the package, it barely fit in the box. The first thing I said to myself was, wow, this thing is massive. I wasn't sure if I was going to like the way it looked mounted on the pistol because the optic was wider than the pistol, but if you think about it, you can't have a window this size and not have it stick out over the sides of the pistol, and that's because the window itself is wider than the pistol. Anyway, once I got it mounted to my echelon and looked through the optic's window, my opinion changed and I was totally on board. This optic was quickly becoming my favorite pistol optic, and that's saying a lot because before using the Bull X Pro, I was using my previous favorite optic, the HoloSun 509C AC-SS Vulcan. I reviewed this optic on my channel too, link in the description. Anyway, back to the Bull X Pro. I was so impressed by the size of this optic window that I couldn't help but go back multiple times just to look through it over and over again. It's the biggest feature that makes it stand out from the competition. When I took it to the range, it was so easy to instantly pick up the 2 MOA dot within the optic's window. Even in high stress situations, the dot is usually already in my line of sight when presenting the pistol. And I also noticed it felt more natural to keep both eyes open using this optic compared to smaller ones where I still tend to close one eye from time to time. I've been using this optic for my course of fire classes and it significantly improved my performance. I think it's because the larger optic window that allows me to see more information downrange. I also noticed that the dot remains in the optic's window during recoil, which is extremely helpful for follow-up shots. On Cyelee's website, they advertise the Bull X Pro as a competition/duty optic. I don't see myself putting this optic on a pistol that I would EDC, but I would definitely use this for course of fire classes, competition shooting, or home defense. I also tried this optic on a PCC and it works great there too. In my opinion, I think it looks really good on this APC9 Pro. Before I installed the Bull X Pro on my APC9, I was using a tube style optic and that optic's window was much smaller. The best way I can describe the difference between the two optics is it's like going from using only one eye to now using both eyes. You have a much bigger field of view and you can take in so much more information while looking through the optic. I like it so much that I might buy a Bull X Pro so I can keep one on my APC9 permanently. When it comes to durability, the aluminum housing feels solid and really well made. Cyelee said this optic survived a optics down drop onto a solid rock attached to a full-size AK-47. They also said they conservatively rate this optic for 6-foot drops, optics down attached to a 45-ounce pistol onto concrete. So it sounds like this optic will be pretty durable. The Bull X Pro has a plus and minus button on the side of the optic to turn it on and off, change brightness settings, and toggle through to 3 reticles. These buttons are clicky and tactile too. This optic has a RMR footprint, which is great because this footprint is pretty popular. I have to point out that the Bull X Pro jets out in the front of the optic just like the Trijicon SRO does. So you have to make sure this part of the optic doesn't cover the ejection port of your pistol. Otherwise, it could interfere with the cycling of your pistol or cause the spent casings to strike the optic's window. The Bull X Pro uses a clear lens that has a slight blue tint to it. To my eyes, all 3 reticles are crisp and don't have any refreshing issues. The shake awake feature works great. The dot was always on and ready to go when I picked up the pistol. The sighting turrets have a slight audible click quick when you turn them. I do wish the turrets were a little bit bigger so I could use my normal sighting tools, but this isn't a deal breaker. I haven't had the Optic that long, so I can't say if the Optic's battery will last the stated 50,000 hours, but when it comes time to swap the battery, you don't have to remove the Optic to do so. All you have to do is replace the old battery with the new one from the side of the Optic. I love this feature because it means you don't have to re-zero your Optic every time you have to change the battery, which is a huge plus in my eyes. I also really like that the base of the Optic isn't too thick. I can easily co-witness the Echelon's iron sights with the Bull X Pro. Another big benefit is that the Optic is reasonably priced. YouTube won't let me say the price in this review, but you can click on the link in the description of this video and you can see the current price. And when you use my code UBRBullX20 at checkout from Amazon, it makes this Optic an even better deal, which is crazy because it's already priced very well to begin with. To wrap things up, I'm going to list the pros and cons and give you my final thoughts for this Optic. The massive 34.5mm by 26mm optic window improved my performance for multiple reasons. This Optic is durable and gives you 3 reticles to choose from, and all 3 are crisp with no refreshing issues. The battery life is said to last up to 50,000 hours, and you can change the battery from the side of the Optic. The buttons on the side are easy to use and clicky, and last but not least, the price for this Optic is more affordable than the competition. There's only 3 cons that I can think of. The first one is part of the Optic sticks out in the front, and on some pistols it can interfere with the pistol's operation if it covers the ejection port, and it may not work with some holsters. I didn't have this issue with the holster I used, but I could see how this may be a problem for other holsters out there. The holster I used that worked great for me was the QVO Tactical outside the waistband holster for the Springfield Echelon. I highly recommend it. Keep in mind, some of the other big windowed red dots out there will have the same issues, and the only other con that I can think of is that its looks might not be for everyone. But for me, this will be my go-to Optic for course of fire classes, competition, home defense, and pistol caliber carbines. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, if you're in the market for CCW insurance, check out Right to Bear. Link is in the description below. Use coupon code UBR10 to get 10% off your entire order. If you haven't already, please subscribe and tell a friend about the channel. Every subscriber helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.